The emergency room was already drowning when the K9 came through the doors. Doctors shouted orders, families prayed behind glass. Then the doors exploded open. A massive Belgian Malinois sprinted into the ER, soaked, bleeding from one paw, dragging a broken leash behind him. Someone screamed, "Get that dog out." A security guard reached for his radio, but the K9 ignored everyone. He stopped directly in front of the quietest person in the room, Nurse Lena Carter. She was 29, new to Mercy Valley, and constantly treated like she had no business working emergency medicine. Victor Hale had called her the clipboard nurse because she never argued, never bragged, and rarely spoke unless necessary. Now the giant dog stared into her eyes. Lena slowly lowered her hands. "Easy, boy." The K9 whined. Then he dropped something at her feet, a torn military identification pouch. Lena froze. Inside was a photograph of a soldier holding the same dog. Her face changed instantly. "Where did you find him?" The dog turned and ran toward the ambulance entrance. Lena followed. Dr. Hale grabbed her arm. "Carter, absolutely not. You are not chasing a stray into a disaster." She looked at him. "He isn't a stray." Before Hale could answer, another ambulance arrived. Its doors opened. A man in a tactical uniform lay motionless inside, blood soaking his chest. The paramedic shouted, "Unknown male, severe blast injury." No pulse. Lena saw the photograph again. The soldier in it was the same man. "That's his handler," she whispered. Everyone stared. The K9 pushed through the paramedics and placed his nose against the man's chest. Lena rushed beside him. "Move him to trauma 2. Hale snapped, "You're not the doctor." "No," Lena said quietly. "But I know what he's telling us." The room fell silent. Lena noticed something nobody else had. The man's pupils were different sizes, but his blood pressure was not collapsing the way Hale expected. His chest wound looked catastrophic, yet the oxygen reading remained strangely high. She touched his neck. "Stop compressions." Hale stared. "He's pulseless." "Check the left side of his chest." A resident scanned him. His face drained of color. "Doctor, there's air trapped around the heart." Hale understood. "Tension pneumopericardium." Lena nodded. "He's not in cardiac arrest. He's in obstructive shock." The Hale hesitated for one dangerous second. Then he shouted, "Now!" The procedure worked. The man's pulse returned, but Lena wasn't celebrating. The K9 was growling at the patient's backpack. "Open it," she said. Hale frowned. "What? Because he brought us here for a reason." Inside the backpack was a military medical pouch, a satellite phone, and a folded note covered in blood. The note contained only 6 words. "Dan tati abtake hema. Everyone went still. "Take who?" A nurse whispered. The K9 barked. Not at the wounded soldier. At the hospital doors. 3 men in dark jackets had just entered. They looked like worried civilians. But Lena recognized their posture. She stepped in front of the trauma bay. "Lock the doors." Hale blinked. "Carter, what are you talking about?" "No." The security system began sealing the emergency entrance. One of the men reached inside his jacket. The K9 lunged. Security tackled him before he could draw his weapon. Chaos exploded. The other 2 men ran. Lena grabbed a radio. "Code Silver. East Corridor." The Hale stared at her. "How do you know the code?" She didn't answer. Instead, she moved toward the wounded soldier. His fingers suddenly twitched. Lena leaned close. His lips barely moved. "Phoenix." She closed her eyes. The word hit her like a gunshot. Years earlier, Lena had been a combat medic attached to a special operations rescue unit. She had saved 12 soldiers during a mountain ambush, then disappeared from military service after a mission ended with 2 teammates dead. Nobody at Mercy Valley knew. She had buried that life beneath ordinary scrubs and silence. The wounded soldier opened his eyes. "Captain," Lena whispered. "Not anymore." His gaze shifted toward the K9. "Archer found you." Lena looked at the dog. Archer pressed his head against her shoulder. Then another twist arrived. Hale checked the soldier's identification and went pale. "Lena." She looked at him. "This isn't just a soldier." The name on the file belonged to a decorated intelligence officer believed missing for 18 months. And the 3 armed men weren't his attackers. They were there to retrieve him before he could reveal what happened on his last mission. The officer suddenly grabbed Lena's wrist. "Don't trust." His eyes rolled back. The monitor screamed. Lena shouted, "He's crashing." Hale moved aside. For the first time, he didn't question her. "Tell us what to do." Lena took control. 2 units blood. "Prepare surgery. Keep Archer with me. Nobody removes that backpack." A nurse whispered, "Who are you?" Lena looked at the dying officer. Then at the K9 who had crossed a storm, broken through a hospital, and found the one person capable of understanding him. "I was the medic who was supposed to bring him home." Minutes later, surgeons took the officer upstairs. Police arrived. The 3 intruders were arrested. But the mystery remained. Why had Archer chosen Lena? At dawn, the officer woke. His first words were simple. "She was the only one who knew our extraction route." Hale frowned. "Then why did he come here?" The officer looked toward Lena. "Because the person who betrayed us is already inside this hospital." Every face changed. Lena remembered the bloodstained note. Don't let them take him alive. Then she noticed something terrifying. The handwriting matched a signature on the hospital administrator's desk. Before anyone could react, the lights went out. A single emergency lamp flickered on. The administrator stood at the end of the corridor holding a gun. You should have stayed invisible, Lena. She stepped forward. You should have checked my record. The administrator smiled. I did. Lena's expression hardened. Then you know I never missed twice. Archer charged. The gun fired. Glass shattered. Security tackled the administrator, and in the silence afterward, Hale finally approached Lena. I owe you an apology. She shook her head. You owe the dog one. The Hale looked at Archer. The K9 rested his head against Lena's hand. Weeks later, the wounded officer walked out of the hospital. Archer walked beside him. Lena stood at the entrance. The officer stopped. You saved my life twice. Lena smiled. No, Archer brought you home. The dog looked back at her. For one unforgettable moment, the entire hospital understood the truth. Heroes don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they wear plain scrubs. Sometimes they stay silent. And sometimes, when everyone else panics, a loyal K9 is the only one who knows exactly where to run. If this story reminded you that courage can hide behind the quietest face, subscribe for more unforgettable stories where ordinary people discover extraordinary strength when it matters most.